Hello fellow game devs and or gamers. In this video I'll be covering all that we have done in the past month or so. Despite the success of the previous style, I'm going to change things up a bit. Cause why not? Let's get on with the video, shall we? I had plenty of things planned and I wasn't sure what to start on, so I tossed a coin and got to working on an actually functioning daylight cycle. I tried doing it all by myself like the strong and independent man that I am, and surprisingly, it was a success. However, there were some frame rate issues using my method. And also there's this weird thing where the ambient lighting only updated when I paused the game. Anyways, after finally following a 20-minute tutorial, I managed to set up stars using a particle system as opposed to thousands of sprites. For the sun and moon, I used my method since it's only 2 sprites, and as you can see I also added a graded sky. This works great, but I still have the problem where when the ambient lighting changes, it, well, doesn't. Until paused, of course. If you know any fix for this, I would greatly appreciate if you could point me in the proper direction. Right after finishing packing up the sky, I decided to work on something a little bit more fun. And that's flying. What kind of flying? Well, gliding of course. What else did you expect? This was mostly programming, and I'm pretty good at it. In no time, Alicia had a seizure. After fixing it, Alicia had even more seizures. Currently, it looks like I don't know what, and I don't think I want to know what. So time to shine some sense into this flying madness by simply creating and giving Alicia a glider. This seemed simple to do. But as you can probably guess, it was not that simple at all. It turned out to be difficult to parent skin mesh renders to other skin mesh renders. Oh, you're not sure what that means? Basically, object with bone hard to attach to other object with bone. I'm awesome, so of course I eventually found a solution. But for that, I had to delete all the progress I've made on equipping items so far. I almost couldn't bring myself to doing it, but just thinking about how much better it could be gets me excited. After a bunch of optimizing and bug fixing, I felt kinda worn out, so as any normal human being, I took a 3-day nap. Once I finally got a grain of motivation, I immediately started to work on a new island. Well, actually, I have been working on this island every day, bit by bit, for a long time, so it's practically done. But I scratched all of that and turned it into a forest island. Remember the swimming that I left for a later day? Well, that day is today. With a gross amount of head scratching, I finally got the script working how I want it to work. Oh, and I also added the poorly made animation, so it doesn't look like Alicia's propelling herself in a very unfashionable way. Hold on a minute, I found a fun little bug. Just before fixing that, I had a great view from above, and decided the trees on this island didn't look good, so I burned them all down to the ground and grew some new fancy trees. Feeling compelled to work more with Polybrush, I added some fancy moss as well. Next, I took a look at my to-do list, and I realized I have to make 2 more islands. Despite me being under immense pressure to make these 2 islands, I started to work on the village island. After getting an extremely rough base shape of the new island, I imported to see how it looked, and to my surprise, all of the trees that I spent oh so much time on the forest island were displaced. Long story short, I re-polybrushed the island. Back to the village island. I'm going to rush through this part. On the first day, the landscape was born, alongside of the rocks and mountains. On the second day, the docks, city center, and quest town were given life. On the third day, it was born into Unity, and mistakes had to be fixed. Again. The fourth day was all about elevating the quest town and giving rise to a farm. On the 5th day, the island was born into Unity once again, and more mistakes appeared. The 6th day was Farm Improvement Day, and the rise of the Witch Hut. On the 7th day, you guessed it, it was imported to Unity, and, well, shortly put it, I quit fixing the trees until the final import. To be honest, I lost track of the days from the very beginning. And so I deemed this place to be ready for bridges, and even more bridges! And finally I replaced all of the reference houses with houses that actually fit for the given task. Wow, over a month of work skimmed over just like that. Now that's pain. It took a long time, but I finally got it. Well, except for the houses, and just about everything else. All of the current buildings are just temporary buildings to see how the place feels, and of course this place doesn't even have vegetation. Look, I'm no architect nor a city designer, so it's not easy for me to do this kind of stuff. Gotta go through the entire process of learning how to make this stuff, trial and error, am I right? As time goes by, I'll get faster at this. That's a promise. Who knows how long this first island may take, but I'll leave the rest in the next devlog. To be brutally honest, I only started this island. There's still a bunch more to do, but I decided it's time to showcase what we have so far. It's been a while, so that's just about all of the main big things that we have been doing in the past 2 months. In hindsight, it doesn't look like much, but trust me, there was a lot of work going to every single step of the process. I admit our current pace is a bit slow, so I'd like to speed it up just a little bit. We have a lot of mechanics, but you probably noticed that a lot of them really buggy, so don't worry, all of that will be fixed in no time. But once we're done with all of the mechanics, we can start working on the story part of the game. I would like to officially announce the release of our Discord server. There you can chill out, talk fuss, post some memes, do whatever you want. Of course, stay by the rules. The link to the Discord server is in the description below the video. That's just about all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you next time.